Has your kid ever looked at you from across the room and slowly closed their eyes before you did anything at all? You didn't blink first. You didn't make a move. They just looked at you, held that gaze, and then let their eyes fall shut in that long, deliberate way. Most people smile, maybe blink back, and move on with their day. But here's what almost nobody realizes. When your kid blinks at you first, that moment means something completely different from when you initiate it. And the difference changes everything about what your kid is actually trying to say. Most owners spend years responding to their cat's slow blinks without ever understanding what it means when their cat leads. By the end of this video, you will. And the last thing we cover is going to reframe every single one of those moments you thought was just your cat being calm. 1. It was never just a blink. Let's start with what the slow blink actually is, because most people have the surface level understanding but miss the depth of it. You've probably heard that the slow blink is a sign of trust. That part is true. But calling it just a sign of trust is like calling a wedding ring just a piece of jewelry. Technically accurate, completely underselling what it actually represents. Here's the context that matters. Cats evolved as both predator and prey. That dual role wired them with one of the most powerful survival instincts in the animal kingdom. Never let your guard down. Never close your eyes near something you don't fully trust. Every time a cat blinks slowly, they are overriding that instinct on purpose. They are choosing, in that moment, to make themselves temporarily vulnerable. Their vision drops, their reaction time slows. And they do it anyway, because whatever is in front of them feels safe enough to risk it. Now think about what that means when a stranger approaches a cat versus when you walk into the room after a long day. With a stranger, the eyes stay wide. The body stays still, every instinct stays on. With you, something different happens. And the slow blink is how they show it. That's not a small thing. That's your cat's entire survival wiring stepping aside because you walked in. 2. When they blink first, the message is completely different. Here is the part most cat owners never think about. There is a real difference between your cat slow blinking in response to yours and your cat initiating it before you do anything at all. When you blink first, you are offering something. You are extending a gesture and waiting to see if they accept it. It's warm, it's meaningful, but it's still you making the first move. When your cat blinks first, they made a decision entirely on their own. Nobody prompted them, nobody offered the gesture and waited. They looked at you, processed what they saw, and chose to send that signal without any invitation. That is a fundamentally different level of intention. Think about it in human terms. There is a difference between someone smiling back at you and someone smiling at you the moment they see you before you've done anything at all. One is a response, the other is a declaration. Your cat initiating the slow blink is a declaration. They are not reacting to you, they are reaching toward you. And that distinction, as small as it sounds, is one of the clearest windows into how your cat actually feels about you, when nobody is asking them to perform. And hey, if this is already changing the way you're thinking about your cat, hit that like button and subscribe. 3. Science has been paying attention. In 2020, researchers at the University of Sussex ran a study specifically designed to test the slow blink exchange between cats and humans. What they found was remarkable. When owners slow blinked at their cats, the cats were significantly more likely to slow blink back and even move closer to them afterward. But the researchers took it a step further. They had complete strangers perform the same slow blink toward cats they had never met. The cats responded positively even then. That single gesture, done deliberately and slowly, communicated something that crossed the boundary between species. The cats read it, they understood it, and they responded to it. Now here is what the study couldn't fully capture but what cat owners know from lived experience. The cats who initiated the blink without any prompt from a human were the ones with the deepest established bonds. The slow blink as a response can be trained over time. But the unprompted slow blink, the one your cat offers you out of nowhere from across the room, that one doesn't come from conditioning, it comes from somewhere much more genuine. Researchers studying feline attachment have noted that cats with secure bonds to their owners display more spontaneous affiliative behaviors. Behaviors that aren't triggered by food, play, or direct interaction. Your cat blinking at you from across the room while you're just sitting there doing nothing is exactly that. 4. Before they blinked, they were already reading you. Here is something that will change the way you think about those quiet moments. Your cat did not just randomly decide to blink at you. Before that slow blink happened, they were already watching you. Cats are extraordinarily tuned into the emotional and physical state of the people they're bonded with. Studies show they can detect changes in your body language, your breathing patterns, your posture, and even the chemical signals your body gives off when your stress levels shift. So in the seconds before your cat blinked at you, they were already running a scan. They clocked how your shoulders were sitting. They registered whether your breathing was steady or tight. They noticed whether your movements were calm or restless. And after all of that, they made a judgment call. You were okay, you were safe. The slow blink wasn't the beginning of the communication, it was the conclusion of it. Your cat had already done the work of reading you before they ever closed their eyes. And what you saw as one quiet gesture was actually the final line of a whole conversation they had been having about you in their head. This is also why cats tend to slow blink more in calm, quiet environments than in busy or loud ones. It's not just about mood. It's about whether the conditions allow them to feel settled enough to let their guard down all the way. When your cat blinks at you in the middle of an ordinary evening, they're telling you that your presence specifically is part of what made that moment feel safe. 5. Most owners respond in a way that breaks the moment. Now here is the part that catches most people off guard. When your cat blinks at you first, how you respond matters more than most owners realize. The most common reaction is to immediately lock eyes and blink back rapidly, almost like an excited confirmation. And while the intention behind that is completely loving, from your cat's perspective it can read as pressure. Remember what direct and blinking eye contact means in cat language. It's a challenge, it's confrontational. The way to respond is to match their energy exactly. Let a few seconds pass. Soften your eyes first, not just your eyelids. Relax your face. Then let your eyes close slowly. Hold for just a moment, and open them gently. The whole thing should feel unhurried, like you have nowhere to be and nothing to prove. That rhythm is what your cat was using. Meet them there. When you get this right, you will notice your cat's body shift. Their posture loosens. Sometimes they look away briefly in that easy, relaxed way that means comfort rather than dismissal. Sometimes they blink again. Either way, the message landed. And you answered it in a language they actually understand. 6. When it means that they chose to blink first. Here is the thing most people never sit with long enough to fully feel. Your cat is not a creature that performs affection on demand. They don't wag their tail when you walk in the room. They don't follow you around desperate for your approval. Every single thing they offer because they chose to. There is no social pressure on a cat. There is no instinct telling them to make you feel good. When they bring you something, when they sit beside you, when they press their head into your hand, every bit of it is voluntary. And the slow blink is the most voluntary thing of all. There is no survival benefit to blinking at you. It doesn't get them food. It doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't meet any biological need. It is a purely emotional act. Your cat looked at you from across the room, decided you were worth the vulnerability, and closed their eyes first. They didn't wait for you to go first. They didn't need the reassurance of your gesture before offering theirs. They just looked at you and decided. In a world where every instinct your cat has is built around self-preservation, the slow blink they give you unprompted is one of the few things they do purely because of how they feel about you. So the next time your cat holds your gaze from across the room and lets their eyes fall slowly shut before you've done a single thing, don't just smile and move on. Stay in that moment for a second, because what just happened wasn't small. Your cat looked at you, sorted through everything their instincts were telling them, and chose you anyway. That's not just a blink, that's your cat telling you, in the quietest way they know how, that you are their safe place.